My name's Tony Delphine. I'm the state forester, um, uh, in charge of the forestry division of the Energy, Minerals, and Natural Resources Department. And first of all, I'd like to thank Governor Martinez for coming to the Wildfire Awareness Week press conference. I'd also like to express my appreciation for all the interagency partners that are standing behind me. We are all we're all ready to deal with what could be a very active fire season. As you can tell by the wind today, this is springtime in New Mexico, and that's one of the higher periods of fire danger that we face in the state is during the spring winds. Every year, Governor Martinez proclaims Wildfire Awareness Week with a proclamation, and I'm going to try to hold on to everything so it doesn't blow away, which will be probably kind of a trick here. Okay, so I'll read this is the proclamation for Wildfire Awareness Week. Whereas New Mexico continues to face increasing wildfire danger, which poses a great risk to our lives, property, communities, and natural resources, and whereas in 2015, the state of New Mexico once again faces the possibility of large and destructive wildfires that could threaten communities and force evacuations, and whereas in New Mexico, much of the western United States, declining forest health conditions, heavy combustible fuel loads, and continued population expansion into the wildland-urban interface increase the threat of wildfire every year, straining our firefighting resources. And whereas while state and federal agencies are dedicating millions of dollars on projects to restore our threatened forests and watersheds, the risk of wildfire in New Mexico can be reduced through the increased vigilance of residents and visitors following FireWise principles and communities working together to face the challenges of wildfire prevention and preparedness. And whereas we all share the personal responsibility to remember that one less spark can mean one less wildfire, and that we can reduce the number of human-caused wildfires that threaten our homes, communities, and vital natural resources. And whereas wildfire does not recognize jurisdictional boundaries, making it critically important for our elected officials, community leaders, interagency wildfire responders, and the public to work together to prevent wildfire. Now therefore I, Susana Martinez, Governor of the state of New Mexico, do hereby proclaim March 29th through April 4th, 2015 as Wildfire Awareness Week. Throughout the state of New Mexico, and in conjunction with the state of Arizona, I urge all New Mexicans to join me in protecting our communities and our citizens and all our natural resources. And this was signed the 18th day of March 2015. I don't want this to blow away. And I think we'll move on to Governor Martinez's remarks. So now it's my pleasure to introduce Governor Susana Martinez. Thank you, Governor.
Appreciate it. Good afternoon, Tony, and thank you to all of you who are here. We're so grateful to Tony and the team at the State Forestry Division and all that they do to protect the natural resources and to help, of course, New Mexico prepare for and prevent and respond to wildfires. I'm also grateful for our local, state, federal, and tribal partners, some of whom are here today, and of course, Smokey the Bear. And from the United States Forest Service and the Bureau of Land Management to local fire departments, as well as our own New Mexico Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. The men and women of these agencies deserve our gratitude for their work every single day to protect our property and the lives throughout our state and our country. This year's theme for Wildfire Awareness Week is where we live, how we live, living with wildfire. The 2014 season saw 376 wildfires on state and private lands. While the season was relatively brief, it was very active and destructive. We all remember the Aussie fire burning more than 14,000 acres on the Navajo Nation, 10 miles northeast of Navajo, as well as the 5,400 acres signal fire near Silver City. Now, through the first few years, New Mexico has seen unprecedented drought, wildfires and floods. It's become more important than ever that we look after our forests, our rivers, and watersheds to secure and make sure to protect our environment and support local economies. I mean, once we have that 1-2 punch of fire and the watersheds are affected, obviously it affects the economy. And so in 2014, we secured $8.5 million in funding to better protect our precious water supply for the devastating 1-2 punch, again, as I said, of the wildfire coming first and then the watersheds being affected with the floods. But even with our efforts to prevent wildfires, we have already seen more than 150 wildfires this year, burning nearly 10,000 acres of state and private land. As we continue to face serious drought, we need to keep working together to prevent these fires. For the third year in a row, the New Mexico Returning Heroes Program, we've got some of the fellows back here, the Returning Heroes Program, which hires and trains military veterans as wildland firefighters, will continue to help protect lives and property throughout our state. So they will be serving the state of New Mexico twice. One, protecting our state and country, and for the second time, helping us to protect our state as firefighters and returning heroes. We made this important program a permanent program last year after a successful pilot period, and are proud of this collaborative effort between the State Forestry Division, the Department of Veteran Services, and the Department of Workforce Solutions. Through continued education and prevention and awareness efforts, we can make a difference together to save lives, property, and of course our precious natural resources throughout New Mexico. And so we must do all we can to help our firefighters as they continue to protect our communities facing dangers and deadly conditions. That's why I'm also proud to sign another important piece of legislation, Senate Bill 519, which will ensure that the Firefighters Survivor Fund is fully funded in the case of an emergency, able to provide the families of fallen firefighters with up to $250,000 of benefits. Our firefighters stand ready throughout the state to protect our communities, and we should always stand ready to support them and their families in time of need and grief. These initiatives are important for protecting our communities and natural resources, as well as the people that protect them. These are some of the New Mexico's most important assets. Another of New Mexico's most important assets is, of course, the Rio Grande River. Establishing a trail the length of the Rio Grande would be a historic achievement for New Mexico, and I think that's what we have right over there, kind of an exhibit that will show. Why don't you bring that on up here? Where is the sponsor? Come on up here. That'll be really cool if we can get all the partners together. Today I'm proud to sign the legislation to bring together a diverse group of public and private partners to realize this vision. House Bill 563, sponsored by Representative Jess Steinborn, will ensure that all voices will be heard as we move forward to take advantage of this wonderful opportunity to further showcase the diverse natural beauty of New Mexico and to continue protecting it for future generations. Whether we live in the mountains, bosques, or the plains, as New Mexicans, we all must play a role in protecting our communities and natural resources. Who else can have a press conference in this kind of weather? And that's why we're here today. I hope that our continued partnerships will better protect New Mexicans from devastating wildfires. Everyone, please be safe, be cautious, be careful. Teach your kids, your neighbors, protect the property around your land. Keep it from any kind of fuels that can catch fire easily. I know that the Forestry Department has all kinds of ideas on the website. It's amazing to see after something has burned what didn't and why the protections that the people took to keep their property safe.
A quick thank you to the Albuquerque Fire Department, Bernalillo County, our friends from the state, our friends from the federal side. It's always amazing to me when we have an incident, and we've had 7 of them in the last couple of days in Albuquerque, to watch these professionals come together, work together on a multi-jurisdictional basis. It is awesome to see. We wish we never had to see it, but I can tell you as a citizen, you should be confident in their ability to get out there and protect our environment. They did a wonderful job the last couple of days. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for doing what you did. It's good that we have someone in custody. We'll see how that pans out. But as you can see, it's dry. The index is high, and we're asking people to do a couple of things. We want you to come out and enjoy the beautiful landscape of the bosque that we have. We want you to do the right kinds of activities. Certainly, we're always in stage 1. No smoking, no flames, nothing that's going to start a fire. But as you saw in the last couple of days, it was the citizens' eyes out here that contacted us, and then these folks were there in 8 minutes. So we're just telling the public, if you're out here, enjoy it, please. But if you see something, call immediately. Call 242 cops. Let us know what's going on. Second thing is, as the summer progresses, we will go through different phases of closures and different phases of restrictions, etc. As a mayor, I leave it up to the professionals to tell us what they think the best practice will be. So pay attention as we come through, and we'll try to keep everybody informed on what those restrictions are. And to our friends in the legislature, thank you. You came off of a long session. Thank you for your service. I've served in the legislature. I know how difficult that is. Governor Martinez, thanks for your leadership. This is amazing. I'm a fan. This 500-mile trail that Representative Steinborn and others have put forward, I'm a big fan. I think New Mexico has a lot to offer, and as the mayor of the largest city in the state, we're going to do what we can to jump in and facilitate that. And Governor, thank you for signing this bill for our firefighters. That means the world to us as well. So I'll keep it at that. So be safe, enjoy the outdoors, let's do the responsible thing. And this is a team effort between the fire professionals and the citizenry. So thank you to everybody for giving us an opportunity.
Thanks very much, Mayor. And it was great news that they did apprehend somebody that was starting those fires. That's really great news for us. I'd like to introduce now Jay Mitchell, Secretary of New Mexico Emergency Management and Homeland Security.
Hi, good afternoon. I too will keep this very brief with our weather. Greatly appreciate the governor being here today, putting her emphasis on this program. Though we talk about the devastating wildfires that we've had in the last few years, I'd also like to bring up the thousands of acres not only the state forestry has done, but our private citizens have done in clearing and reducing the wildfire threat itself by reducing our hazardous fuels that lie within our forests and our WUI areas and on our private lands. These have made huge differeses in the protection of our watershed, the protection of our economies at the local level. I encourage everybody to get on websites, firewise.org, fireadapted.org. Learn more what you can do as individuals and as communities to protect your local economies, to protect your lives and protect your lifestyles. These are great assets to do, and don't underestimate how much you can do yourself on your own private property and within your community. It's extremely important to the state to have your efforts put forward, and it's never too late to do it. So I encourage everybody to get out there, learn what you can do at your home, learn what you can do within your community, learn what you can help with on our state lands, and protect those assets that we have. Most importantly, our economic development and our watersheds. Our water is so important to us in this state, and every fire, which is followed by a flood, devastates those watersheds, and it's so important for everybody to do what they can do themselves. Thank you very much.
Now we'll have BLM State Fire Management Officer Hector Madrid. A few words.
Good evening. My name is Hector Madrid from the Bureau of Land Management, New Mexico State Office. I'm the State Fire Management Officer. Our top priority in the Bureau of Land Management, as well as several of these other interagency partners here, is to keep our firefighters, number one, safe, and number two, public. We have to work together. No structure, natural resource, cultural resource is worth the loss of a human life. Every fire activity, managers weigh in the risk of the safety of the firefighters and the public. Not one incident that we go on that we don't take these kind of practices. Teamwork, partnerships, cooperation are essential in managing fire. Wildfire knows no boundaries. As others have said here today, we fight fires across several boundaries in several jurisdictions. Pre-season planning is a lot of things that take place with our dispatch plans, our fire management plans, working with all of our interagency partners to make sure that our firefighters are trained and ready for the upcoming fire season. I feel ready with our folks in the Bureau of Land Management, and I know other interagency partners have been working hard to get their folks prepared as the wildfire season is here upon us today, as you can tell by the winds. Last but not least, a community that has fire, that has adapted to fire is a better community. When residents of fire-prone communities clear brush, trees, and other flammable materials away from their homes and other structures, it keeps the residents and the firefighters safe when we finally have to come and fight a fire if we have one in your neighborhood. So I ask everyone to be diligent this year, take care of their homes, take care of the properties, inform your neighbors, and hope all of our firefighters have a safe fire season. Thank you.
Now I'll introduce Albuquerque Fire Department Deputy Chief Victor Padilla.
And real quickly, just on behalf of the Albuquerque Fire Department and Fire Chief Downey, I want to thank Madam Governor and Mayor Berry for their diligence in supporting wildfire safety, not only in the city of Albuquerque, but in the entire state of New Mexico. And just to quickly reiterate what has already been said by our honorable dignitaries here, let's continue to go out and enjoy these beautiful recreational areas, such as the Bosque and the West Mesa and our open spaces in the foothills. But let's just to make sure that we do it responsibly and respectfully by making sure that we pay attention and obey all the fire restrictions.